And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Okay, starting off with a high wind warning out here for the Alaska Range, and that's out tonight and stays out through Saturday afternoon until about 4 p.m. And that's for south winds gusting as high as 75 miles per hour at times. And then right over here, a wind advisory there for the Fort Greely area, Delta Junction. And that's for the same time period tonight through Saturday afternoon for winds in those areas gusting up to about 55 miles an hour from the south. Moving on to satellite imagery. Low pressure here pulling up in toward the Alaska Peninsula, bringing a lot of clouds and a pretty widespread area of rain here, pushing into areas of the Kenai Peninsula and western Cook Inlet up into the western Susitna Valley and across the southern Kuskokwim Valley, with rain occurring all the way back into the Kuskokwim Delta and starting to push in lighter amounts up here along the Yukon River areas. Otherwise, the southeast coast, the heaviest moisture now pushing off into Canada from the heavier rain you had overnight last night. And rain diminishing, becoming more showery with some clearing periods, especially around Sitka showing up this afternoon. And not too bad up over the north slope and the Arctic coast. Out to the west here, we've got a front kind of elongated, or it is elongated here, right across the Aleutians with areas of rain, clouds, and fog associated with that. And the main low here kind of down to the south there off the chart. New development right there. Here's going to be pulling northward tonight toward the Alaska Peninsula. And rolling this through again, you can see this area of moisture will continue northward throughout the night tonight and into tomorrow. Then for tonight, bounced it too far there, another system develops and comes up toward the Alaska Peninsula. The one currently moves up into this area, bringing a pretty widespread area of light precipitation, rain and snow, Yukon Delta, up across the Seward Peninsula and up in toward the Kobuk Valley there along the Yukon River. And mostly snow there for the western Brooks Range along the southern slopes out toward the northwest coast there. This next one bringing another round of gusty winds and rain with it into the Kodiak Island area. The Kodiak today had about 3/4 of an inch of precipitation, so that's going to keep raining tonight with gusty winds continuing there. And also winds continue to increase here across the North Gulf Coast, Kenai Peninsula, all areas of south central Alaska, Turnagain Arm, Manuska Valley. Winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour today in the Copper River Valley there around Gulkana and Klawasi, and gusty winds, Palmer out of the southeast, 30, 35 miles an hour there. That's going to continue into tonight. Should stay dry over northern Cook Inlet and the Manuska Valley, increasing chances of some precipitation over the western Susitna Valley in toward the eastern slopes of the western Alaska Range area, as well as the southern Kuskokwim Valley. Another low out here keeps it breezy and wet for the eastern Aleutians out toward Adak and Atka, and then some scattered showers farther to the west. Southeast coast, a couple of lingering showers possible. Otherwise dry conditions with variable clouds and some clearing, and winds light here, and that extends up through much of the eastern interior areas. And for tomorrow, this low tracks north and actually a little bit back to the northwest here, right over the southwest interior, the front extending eastward from that. Looks wet and windy across all of the North Gulf Coast into Prince William Sound and the Kenai Peninsula, Susitna Valley areas out into the Kuskokwim Valley. Gusty winds and rain and snow all the way down into Bristol Bay, then turning showery here over the Alaska Peninsula behind the front, as well as Kodiak Island. After good solid rain tonight and into early Friday morning, becoming lighter and more showery during the latter part of the afternoon. Windy, wet conditions hold out here over the southeastern Bering Sea, and especially the Alaska Peninsula and to about Atka Island there. And this low develops again over the Seward Peninsula from the trough tonight, becomes another low center there near Shishmaref at about 991 millibars. So areas of snow up here for the western Arctic coast, Brooks Range, right on down into the Bering Strait. And mostly sunny, light winds here for the southeast coast there with temperatures pushing up into the lower 60s around Prince of Wales Island, otherwise mostly in the 50s elsewhere. Dry and windy for the Tanana Valley into the 40-mile country. Windy, again, gusts 40 to 45 miles an hour, and should stay dry over the Copper River Basin with those south winds blowing off the Coast Range there, keeping the moisture backed up along the mountains. And but it'll be definitely cloudy there with some thick cirrus over the entire area, lowering throughout the afternoon. And then for the forecast on Saturday, got a weak trough out here over the western part of the state, right on down the Yukon River with some scattered showers into the Kuskokwim Delta area and Bay, and dry now coming into the Yukon Delta and the northern Bering Sea into the Seward Peninsula. Just some scattered snow shower activity there, and some rain and snow here east of this trough axis there along the southern slopes of the Alaska or the Brooks Range there into the Koyukuk Valley. Partly mostly sunny and mild up over the Yukon Flats. Chances of snow grazing the Arctic coast there. And a weak system here over the Alaska Peninsula producing some areas of rain, showers, low clouds, fog, and low flying conditions there, especially for the Alaska Peninsula and possibly the eastern Aleutians, but high pressure building out here over the west central Aleutians, ridging into the Bering Sea. So pretty light winds, dry conditions here, keeping this moisture off up to the northwest and directing it northward. Otherwise, some scattered showers for the southwest part of Kodiak Island. Otherwise, looking at a pretty dry day, definitely drier than what you'll see tonight and tomorrow there. And also some clearing beginning to show up with drier conditions for Cook Inlet and the Kenai Peninsula. Showers lingering here along the North Gulf Coast into the northern Panhandle, but partly sunny conditions down to the south. This warm front spreading moisture up into the western Gulf of Alaska, southern and southwest Gulf of Alaska. And for Sunday, it doesn't make too much progress either west or north here, bringing a chance of rain into the east side of Kodiak Island, possibly late Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening. And most of this moisture kind of shearing off to the northeast and linking up with a trough here over the Yukon. So that could squeeze out some light rain there for the northern Panhandle back toward Yakutat to about Cape St. Elias or so. Otherwise, light winds and partly and mostly cloudy. Probably mostly cloudy here over most areas of the central and southern interior, with a chance of some scattered shower activity, mainly over the mountainous terrain here. Not pretty light, whatever does occur. And this high pressure now over the central and eastern Bering Sea for light winds, dry weather. Nunivak Island right on down into Adak, Atka, and the Fox Islands there. Chance of some scattered snow showers around St. Lawrence Island, with the best chance here north of the Bering Strait in over the Chukchi Sea. And another low there for the Arctic coast brings a chance of snow to the central and eastern areas. Otherwise, out to the west, weakening front pushes some rain into the western Aleutians with increase in the south and southeasterly winds. And for the lows tonight, anywhere from 15 to 25 from the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast. In the 30s over much of the remainder of the state, except lower 40s for the Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island area, and in the 40s for the southeast coast. And the highs tomorrow afternoon, 55 to 60 up here over the central and eastern part of the state. 58 forecast high for both Fairbanks and Eagle tomorrow, and also for Klawock. Otherwise in the 50s, 40s for the remainder of the state south of the Brooks Range, north of the mountains up there, highs in the 20s to lower 30s. And for the lows on Saturday morning, mid to upper 30s here for the central and eastern Aleutians, lower 30s for the Pribilofs, lower 20s up there towards St. Lawrence Island, and the Seward Peninsula in the 20s, but 30s here over the interior, south of the Brooks Range to near 40 down toward the Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island area, and in the lower 40s for the southeast coast. Followed by highs Saturday afternoon, 55 to 62 for the southern Panhandle, otherwise upper 40s and near 50 to the north. And mid-50s, mid to upper 50s, central and eastern interior, north of the Alaska Range and south of the Brooks Range to near 50 in the central part of the state, cooling into the lower to mid-30s out toward the Bering Strait area, and also for the north slope up to the Arctic coast, getting milder yet. Each day keeps getting warmer up in this area. It looks like highs mostly in the 30s most area to near 40, or a little into the 40s there for Arctic Village.